Hello everyone. I hope you guys had a wonderful trading week here. Made a lot of money. Again, we're going to be doing the weekly recap. Let's take a look here at what's going on. So obviously the Japanese yen continues to break down here. A pretty rough week for the yen. And it was down again. But overall, it's trying to really hold its lows here. I saw a lot of posts and people talking about the yen finally getting ready to capitulate, because if it breaks 142, it's going to be a massive waterfall sell-off. And funny enough, that's where it decided to reverse. And I was actually getting into a long here on the yen because of it had a good setup for a possible bounce. And at the same time, that's exactly where it started to reverse when everyone started talking about the big breakdown. So it looks like the Japanese are trying to defend their currency here, or actually weakening it. And with the US dollar strengthening, the DXY was getting a little bit of a pop, and now it's starting to give back those gains. But overall, the yen remains the most USD/JPY remains the most important chart here. If the yen strengthens, that's going to cause significant problems for equities. But now I'm kind of like looking at this flat pattern possibly playing out, because we continue to hammer on just this very basic TA, just downsloping trend line. And I think it's going to give in next week, and you could actually have like a 2 to maybe even more, like maybe even 3% rise in the USD/JPY pair, which would actually give some relief to equities, right? But maybe we get an early sell-off and it reverses. We don't really know at this point. It's a little bit too early to tell still, but the pattern is overwhelmingly bearish at the moment. We continue to build 1-2 setups, and eventually all of these 1-2s are going to resolve in a massive wave 3 down. So I think we guys should go a little bit deeper into this box, maybe 130, 132, maybe even 126, right? We don't know to what extent this is going to go to. You could even take these pivots into account, right? 129, 127. These are pretty important pivots in the yen. But yeah, that's kind of just my idea here. So let's take a look at some other things. So let's take a look at the Dow Jones. The Dow Jones, again, was not able to take out its high here. It got pretty close, right? Actually, I think did it take out its highs? Okay, so the Dow Jones actually did take out its highs, but this is the ETF. I believe the actual index itself did not do that. So it was pretty close, but it didn't. Unless maybe I'm wrong. Oh, it did. Okay, so the Dow Jones did take out its high. Well, that's interesting. So you have one index here that actually has 5 swings up, right? Or possible 5 swings up. So you could actually force a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or a 1, 2, 1, 2. And this is building a base for a big move higher. But I would just, leave the bearish pattern for now, just because of what all the other indices are showing, right? And obviously today was a rough day for the Dow Jones. It was actually the one that was down the most due to UNH being down like 22%. 22%, and it's a big composite of the Dow Jones and the way it's calculated, right? It's price cap weighted for some, for whatever reason. It's not market cap weighted, so the bigger stock of the price has, the more weight it has in the Dow Jones. So anyways, let's get over here. We'll move on to the SPY, right? This is the stuff that people trade the most. And yeah, not too surprising. It got a rejection here. We kind of had like the final area for a rejection on the SPY to continue to build the bearish pattern. And we got some sort of sell-off afterwards, and that's where we profited from. We started taking some more shorts here. It was a very low risk, high reward trade. You had almost such like a 30 basis points, 50 basis points stop, but we actually had a nice little drop here of 4% in the market. But it's pretty indecisive. The market is still in decision mode, right? You have the number one print that came on the dark pools here at the highs for the SPY, and at the same time you have the number 3 print on the Qs or something like that, or number 2, which is like pretty similar to the SPY as well, come in at the low. So now it's bouncing in between the range, right? It's up and down, it's up and down. And this B wave, right, it could have a lot of possibilities. It's possible it ended here, right? And the pattern that I'm showing is correct, and we're gonna get like a super crash soon, right? We're gonna get like a 20% drop, and maybe all the tariff stuff is resolved, and or not resolved. It escalates, and this goes down. But it could also do something like this, where it's a more complex correction. It becomes a W, and then you have some sort of X here, and then you have a Y, which will extend higher, right? Give us one more leg higher, but this will, ultimately be a bull trap, and people will be, fooled again, because we have tons of supply here, lots of distribution into this area, lots of distribution, right at the lows as well. So it's forming some sort of wall, right? So I'm pretty sure if we do something like this, it's going to feel good. It's going to feel like the low could be possibly in. But if we continue to move in three-wave swings, then this is most likely going to be another short, right? And it's going to be a great moment to capitalize on that, if I am, in my opinion. But if I'm wrong, then the lows are in, and you could be shorting into a wave 3. So it's not like a risk-free trade. There's always risk in trading. But if it's moving in threes, right? Because when I took a look at the small time frames, we only got 3 waves down here, because we have capitulation, no divergence. So you can't really. I mean, you could force and call this 5 waves down and force an impulse, right? You could do that on the 5 minute. But if it's moving in threes again, then this is some sort of maybe another WXI, right? You could say that's the case. But if it's something else, then maybe it's doing, oops, maybe it's doing something like this, right? You don't know. And if it is this, then you have a target, right? And these targets can move based on where the price goes. You could have a target of like 506, right? Kind of right underneath this pivot. You kind of like take out that liquidity, swing lows, take out the stops, and then you could take it higher, right? And then you take it higher again for a big move up. So it could do a lot of things, and there's nothing definitive and set in stone at the moment. So it's really choppy. It's in the middle area, as the sage would say. So right now, I think it's best to not be in anything. I closed a lot of my positions today. Closed my nat gas short, my Q short, which we took a short here, by the way. We closed it, and yeah, we closed the VIX call too as well. Big gains this week overall. And again, same pattern here for the Qs. It could easily come back up and trap more investors. But if it wants to take the more direct path, I'm not opposed to it. It's all the way down here at 451. That's where you should find support. And the Qs, similar situation, 378. This is where you should find support. And 320 down to 320. It's a big range, right? But this is where the trader step in and look into the sub time frames, or when you see a good spot to enter, then you place your bets. The IWM also doing something similar. I think it could even extend all the way back up to the 195. It's actually the strongest index right now. Funny enough, it's been beaten up so much. I think now it's getting some sort of like revenge, some payback. It's getting some relief. It's getting some love. Who knows? But the small caps seem to be having a good time right now, more than anything else. And then we'll take a look at the TLT. So our TLT trade continues to be a very choppy setup, but I continue to believe that it's possible that the yields could have a major leg down, and then find some support here, which means yields are going to spike for some reason. And then you have a good long setup down here, right? A great long setup for the bonds, and then this is where you should exit them, right? So the SMH didn't do anything too much. I drew this kind of like, oh, it's gonna bounce and it's gonna lose a lot of its gusto here, and it's out of favor, and kind of I mean, Trump's making sure it stays out of favor with all his policies and stuff, but it's not something I really like to hold at the moment. But it is a volatile asset class, so there's tremendous upside if there's a big rebound in the market, and they're probably the ones that are gonna see the most explosive move up. So we'll see what happens. Right now I have it as complete, but it could also continue to extend lower, right? You also need to factor that in, because what you have here is again another 3 swing move up without taking out the highs, and you're moving in threes. So when you're moving in threes, it's unfortunate, but you could easily continue to do stuff like this, right? And continue to extend lower. So if it wants to extend lower again from where it is now, then it's coming back down to 182, right? 182 before it gets another rebound again, before it maybe does an 8WXY for a more complex correction again, and continue to extend until it really finds its low, right? You could do this, right? And then maybe this becomes a WXY, and then you have another A, B, and a C, and a final push lower on the weekly, which, to be honest, the weekly looked like it's found capitulation, but the monthly still has a tiny little bit more room down. So it's very possible you could have like a swing up like this, and then have a huge drop for some reason, right? And then you really erase or complete it on the monthly. Or the monthly looks like it's about to find some sort of support at one point, but the monthly moves so slowly, so you can't really trade on the monthly. But yeah, let's see how this plays out. It's an ugly pattern that we have right now, but I'll be patient with it. Gold. So gold is interesting because gold, we got, I'll just pull up the Discord here. We got the number one trade here on the Sprott Physical Gold Trust. It was for $240 million, I believe, or sorry, $208 million, right at the highs. And volume leaders even took like some in-depth analysis on it. So if you take a look at PHIS, Physical Sprott Gold Trust, it did get a little bit of overshoot today, right? I believe the trade came in at 25.44 or something like that. And was it 25.44? I'm not too sure what the exact price is, but it's around here. So you're starting to see like gold is kind of struggling, running into resistance. It's a battle, right? There's lots of demand right now for gold, but this is where, in my opinion, retail investors are finally getting ready to buy gold. You know, I've been recommending gold for years, and now it's getting a lot of love. You know, I was buying it down here, and now we're getting this big move higher. Obviously, it took a long time, but it's happening, and now we're starting to see retail investors get in and get excited on it. So now I'm starting to think that it's probably getting close to the end of its run. In the short term, the long term still very bullish. It could get another leg higher for sure, maybe even up to 3,500, and but they could even add more to their short position. You could even see it maybe another number one print again. Maybe they add another 200 million in shorts, and then you really start to see this unravel, and you start to lose the whole fifth wave, which is typically what you do, and you see a whole retrace of this whole move, and people panic out, they sell out. Oh my God, it's gonna crash. Right, it could lose this whole entire fifth wave too, right? The whole major fifth wave. If you come back to 2,500, people give up. Oh my God, it dropped $1,000, and then that's probably the best time to get in again. So I'll keep a close eye on it. But yeah, maybe we'll get into a short on gold. But again, it's something I'm very bullish on in the long term. We'll take a look at silver. So silver is in a short area. It is, you know, kind of struggling here. It did get a big sell-off the other day, in the overnight. I believe it dropped a pretty decent amount, 3%. Yeah, so it did. So it's a very volatile asset as well. But if we're headed towards recession, all that stuff, silver should resolve lower and take out this low. Which, by the way, you did kind of get, you know, peak capitulation on the 4 hour. You kind of got it on the daily as well. But again, you know, when things are selling off in a panic, these things can go much lower, right? Like look at the 2020 kind of crash. Like look how low the RSI went to 12, right? And this only went to 26. So don't think that things can't go lower. They 100% can. So if it ended here, your target for silver shouldn't be much lower, but it should be like some sort of like capitulation move. I gotta get my target area. It should be 26 to 22. So again, obviously it's a big haircut. It doesn't seem like it is, but it is a pretty big haircut. You can see we hit that one nicely. This one never hit. We'll take it away. But yeah, there you go. That's what it should. It should do something like this, right? Where it should come down, and you'll find support down here. Let's take a look at oil. Oil, kind of struggling. Actually, no. Actually, it's doing pretty decent. Like it came all the way back up. I think it could be in some sort of more complex correction again, and you come back in a B. Hit some resistance, and then you get another drop, maybe some policies come out again, and then you get down into this area. But we'll see what happens. Too early to tell. I don't have any trades on in energy. GameStop, I'm going to do a GameStop video tonight, so we'll skip through that one. I should probably remove it because I always cover GameStop. NVIDIA, again, 1-2-1-2-1-2 pattern. Could be something else, but this is what I have it in right now. And I saw some people are calling for like $50, stuff like that. It's pretty bearish. People are ready to get bearish now that NVIDIA has kind of like done a huge RSI burn on the weekly. But I just, again, the semis are just not in the spot that I like, especially with the what's going on the news, right? So it's not really an asset class that I like to touch too much. But yeah, they could extend higher, erase divergence, have more complex corrections. We ended this with no divergence on the daily. Let's take a look at the 1 hour maybe. Okay, yeah, so you ended this with divergence. So you know it's an impulse lower. At one point, all these 3s and 4s are going to complete. Like, are you going to get an announcement that Trump is increasing tariffs to 500% now? Like, we don't know what's going to happen. So it's still bearish pattern. Tesla is kind of weird because it's showing that we should get some sort of flat here. It could also be done, and you're just getting it in the series of 1-2s again, but also a chart that's kind of like in a no trade area, so I don't like it. AMD. So AMD, I have it again as complete, but the problem is right now is that AMD has not, I think we talked about this last week, taken out or maybe we didn't, but it has not taken out its highs here. Even on the smaller time frames, you have no divergence. All you have to do was to confirm that this is not a 3-swing move. You know, I could put the 3, 4 here and the 5, right? And all this is some sort of A, you know, B and a C. I guess I selected the wrong one, but you kind of get the idea. Some sort of 3-swing move up, 3 swings, and then you're going to get another 3-swing up, but it's going to feel like an impulse, but it won't be. You'll erase divergence, you'll take out the highs, you'll end with peak RSI again, and then get again another leg lower, possibly setting up for another 1-2, right? Which would be very bearish because now you're going to be extending this 5th wave, and if you erase divergence, right, on the 3 hour, which actually, to be honest, you already did, and I didn't notice that. On the daily, you took out all this RSI. So either you finish the 4 here, right, with, you know, peak RSI. On the 5, the C, and the Y are all done, right? Or this wave 3 is extending, and you haven't found the low yet, and you're going to be in a huge choppy mess, and it's going to extend even lower, right? Which is not favorable, right? So it seems like AMD is just out of favor with investors at the moment. Intel continues to build its bearish pattern. It's just slowly losing support here. I think it's going to resolve lower eventually. It's just taking its sweet time. Nubis Group actually looking pretty decent out of like a lot of the tech stocks. This one seems like, oops, what am I doing here? There we go. It seems like it wants to do something like this, in my opinion, because I think you don't have enough room down to confirm this bullish pattern. This is why I'm thinking we could have a connector higher and a more complex correction. Like this could easily do something like this, right? And it's a flat, and you get a flat target of like 32, right? So it could do something like this, but it's still bearish, which is not the best. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm just going to leave this for now as is. CrowdStrike in the sell area. Did it take out the highs? It did. Okay, so CrowdStrike took out the highs. Let's see here. The daily, we'll get rid of this count. We'll get rid of this count. Could still be in a complex correction. 4-hour time frame. All right, so year race divergence. So you know this is some sort of A, B, and a C. Okay. So you did a flat. Oh boy, I'm hearing the dogs out there barking. Yeah, so it could have ended here. It could also extend higher, right? The X wave could also extend higher because this is a flat now. So if it wants to go up to here, this is a nice short area for CrowdStrike. 415 to 453. PayPal, not doing too much since it hit our buy area. Slight invalidation. So again, I don't know. It's kind of like, do you want to long it and just set your stop below? Kind of up to you guys. Robinhood, I think needs another extension higher. I think it needs to do something like this and then come back down later. So maybe crypto gets a pump and then it crashes along with the markets again. Bitcoin kind of setting itself up for that too. And then we'll finish off with MU. MU, just like all the other semis, aren't doing too much and just bounced here. And it's just lulling around. I just think the semis are just falling out of favor right now with investors with all this news coming out. It's just unfortunate, but that's just the way it is right now. All right, so that's kind of like the weekly recap. Still very indecisive market. I think it's very possible that you get some sort of extension higher to grab more people. But this C leg could even come as low as, you know, 490. Like it could drop more before it's all said and done. Like you get some bad news early on next week. It gets people scared. They panic sell at the lows. You rip it up with some crazy great news. People, maybe another day like this, people go crazy. They get in. They can't. Oh my God! Yes, it's over. And then, you know, the Trump does a U-turn again, and then it just freaks people out. So it's not a buy and hold kind of market. It's a get in and get out kind of market, right? We don't have Sleepy Joe at the wheel, and the markets can just float up. We're in the Trump era right now. And the Trump era is obviously difficult to trade, and myself have been having to reduce the position sizes in my futures account to quarter positions and half positions from half to full, right? Can't do full positions in this market. It's too risky. But the volatility is kind of making up for it, so the returns are pretty much the same, but it's too much risk, right? So that's kind of it. I'm just going to sit on the charts here for now. This pattern is a morphing pattern, so this can easily change by the end of the week or on Monday, right? By the next time you see this update, this pattern could have morphed into something else. All right. Good night.